सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Governing Business and Relationships. So that's the book we are studying right now. And last week we started with the first chapter, the structure of management. And we are on the first topic, manager, or you can say the individual, and the subtopic, the human constitution. So just to recap, can we project that or is there? So it is important for all of you to understand what all of us are made of. So the entire personality is nothing but vasanas, the stuff you are made up of. All your talent, all your inclinations, everything, the entire personality is nothing but vasanas. And vasanas are enlivened by the God principle. The word which we use is self. You can use the word Atman, divinity, any word you can use. So vasana is nothing but matter. So on its own, they are inert. There is no life in vasanas. But when they come in contact with God principle, there is life. That is you and me. And then vasanas, they further manifest as body, mind and intellect. Vasanas are unmanifest. So the manifestation of vasana is body, mind, intellect. And then body has got 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action. So you perceive the world through these organs of perception. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. We all know that. So what do you perceive? What do you contact? Is sense objects. Then with organs of action you act. With your body you act. So you perform various actions. Positive actions, negative actions, evolutionary actions. Actions could be devolutionary also. With mind you feel a range of emotions like joy and sorrow, like compassion, love. With intellect you think, you reason. And again the intellect is of 2 types, gross intellect and subtle intellect. So you use gross intellect to transact the world, the terrestrial world. But anything beyond the terrestrial world, subtle intellect plays the part. So in fact, when you start using subtle intellect, that is when your spiritual journey starts. You may have a brilliant gross intellect, but you may remain pinned down to the terrestrial world. You may not have that query, what's my purpose in life? Why am I born as a human being? What scriptures are saying. It's a typical role of the subtle intellect. And what clouds your subtle intellect is your own desires. So as you start offloading your desires, that query comes more pronounced. What's my purpose in life? Where is true happiness? So with gross intellect, when you use gross intellect, you become a thinker. When you use subtle intellect, you become a contemplator. It's there on the screen. So you are a perceiver, actor, feeler, thinker and contemplator. So all these are part of you. And the entire personality is enlivened by vasanas. Rather, manifestation of vasanas. And everything is enlivened by the God principle. But how you manage yourself, God principle has got nothing to do with it. It's neutral. In layman's language, God has got nothing to do with how you manage your life. So once you understand this, your life will be very simple. Otherwise, you'll keep on blaming everybody, including God. Oh God, why this to me? Why that to me? Is neutral. Without God principle, nothing can happen. It goes without saying. How you are going to manage your life. See, for example, what you perceive. I mean, you can perceive the worst of things. You know, a lot of people they say there is media, media, media. Nothing wrong with media. I mean, but you have a choice to listen to the same news over and over again. And in some cases, literally, people have gone into depression. War, 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 war. I mean, everywhere you start saying war. Or healthcare system. When everything is okay, you go into depression. You know, so it's up to you what you want to perceive from the world, what actions you want to perform. God principle has got nothing to do with it. You may perform the most noble acts, you may perform the worst of worst acts. You have a choice. Similarly, what emotions you want to entertain. You may entertain best of feelings, best of emotions, like love, compassion, the identification with everybody, the attitude of friendliness, or you may entertain negative emotions like jealousy, anger, or whatever. Similarly, you have a choice to use your intellect, to use that logic and reason, to do something noble. But same logic and reason can be used to bring down the two twin towers. It's a great intellect. What intellect is that? You want to rob a bank, you need an intellect. You and I cannot do that. It's a skill. A lot of planning and all that is required. Emotional, ordinary robber cannot do that. You need to be an intelligent robber. So you can use that, your intellect to rob a bank. The same intellect can be used to for research, come out with something which is beneficial for the entire humanity. God principle is neutral. This is what you need to understand. So once you swallow this, swallow it initially, then your life will be very straightforward. Otherwise, you will keep on blaming the whole world. So you need to understand your personality quite well. Then only you will know how to manage it, isn't it? So that's what we studied last week. I was just recapping. So are we okay? Is group okay?
The self merely enlivens the body to perceive and act, the mind to feel, and the intellect to think. The vasanas determine the quality, type of perception and action, emotion, and thought that emanate from the body, mind, and intellect. A person with business vasanas will plunge into business. One with music vasanas will take up musical roles. Sports vasanas will produce a sportsman, etc.
Yeah, perfect. So already discussed. So the entire personality is nothing but manifestation of vasanas. So whatever vasanas you have, bundle of vasanas, God principle just enlivens that. So if vasanas are positive, the expression will be positive. If vasanas are negative, expression will be negative. Now, of course, with this knowledge, you can purify your vasanas. It goes without saying. Yeah. Continue.
Your first obligation in life is to choose a field of activity according to your basic nature, termed in Sanskrit as Swadharma. Swa, one's own, dharma, nature. Your Swadharma is constituted of your vasanas. The field of activity of your choice must fit into your Swadharma. It is not in your interest to choose a field which is Paradharma. Para, alien, dharma, nature. The field of Swadharma would be conducive for success, progress, and growth in your life. Whereas a field of Paradharma would be frustrating, unproductive. Imagine Roger Federer playing golf and Tiger Woods playing tennis. In fact, the author of the book himself hails from a family established in shipping business, but he found a business career alien to his nature and chose to research and propagate in the field of his Swadharma, Vedanta philosophy, which he continues to date. To simplify the concept, Swadharma would act as the tailwind and Paradharma as headwind to an aircraft in flight. So, the first lesson you learn in life is to choose a career according to your Swadharma.
Extremely important concept. In fact, this is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3 and chapter 18. In these two chapters, he talks about what is Swadharma, what is Paradharma. So, Swadharma is your own inclination, your own talent, your own aptitude. And opposed to Swadharma is what is not your own talent, what is not your own inclination. So, he gives example of Roger Federer versus Tiger Woods. So Roger Federer's Swadharma, his inclination, his aptitude, his bent is tennis. Imagine he takes to golf, what will happen? Or Tiger Wood takes to lawn tennis, it will be disaster. So as a youngster, you have to identify your Swadharma. Some of you may say it is too late for me. I understand. At least help your children to identify their Swadharma. I have come across so many examples, at least 10 or 15 minimum I can think of, where there is a major clash between parents and children. Let's say the child wants to take to accounting and parents are after the child. No, you have to take to medicine. You have to study medicine because why? The father is a doctor. It's absolute chaos. So you need to identify what's your talent in life. And by the time you are 12, 13, 14, 15, in most cases, it is quite obvious. Luckily, unconsciously, we take to our Swadharmic field. In 7 out of 10 cases, perhaps. But in certain cases, again, unconsciously, you may pick up something which is not alien to you, which is alien to you. It may happen because of parents' pressure. It may happen because of my friends are doing MBA, therefore I also want to do MBA. Or it could be herd instinct. Oh, there is a lot of money, everybody is doing MBA, therefore I am also doing MBA. I can think of my own nephew. So his father pushed him to do MBA. Actually, he was a very good engineer. He did engineering. And if you ask me, he had no talent whatsoever, like managerial talent. It's a different talent. Technical talent is a different talent. But his father is very, very aggressive. So he forced his son to do MBA. And after that, if you ask me, he's doing okay, he's earning money, but there is no satisfaction, there is no contentment in his life. I know the reason, but I dare not open my mouth. What can you do? So make sure you help your children to identify their Swadharma. And then they can take their own decision. It could be whatever. Incidentally, it may be in line with parents. You let's say some of you are engineers. Your children may have strong inclination towards engineering. Why not? But what if they have inclination towards something else? So you have to help them to identify what is their talent, what is their aptitude. And Swadharma is not based on your whims and fancies. You should be able to differentiate. See, when I was 7th, I wanted to become a pilot. Then when I went into 9th grade, I wanted to join army. Then when I was in 12th grade, I wanted to do CA. It's not my Swadharma. It's like whims and fancies of the mind. That is different from you have a very strong inclination. Usually it is 70-80%. Something tells you, yes, that I want to become an engineer. But also you may have certain inclination towards playing golf, but not to the extent that you end up taking golf professionally. Then there will not be any confusion. In fact, I think recently, a few weeks back, my niece's daughter, she asked this question to me. she's very sure, absolutely sure that she wants to become neurologist. She is just in 11th grade, and rarely you come across a 15, 16-year-old boy or a girl who has that clarity at that age. Absolutely, she is sure. And she is like shadowing some of the doctors, or she wants to in a summer break, and she is in touch with one or two well-known neurologists in America. But also she plays flute. In fact, she plays for her school's band. You know, and she was asking this question. But what about my music career? So I said, I mean, I known you for last couple of years, and from our discussion, you're absolutely clear about, I want to become a neurologist. So there are chances that within few years, once you take to medicine, the flute will go on a back burner. It will fizzle out. But if it does not fizzle out, then on weekends you can play as a hobby. So that way you can do justice to your Swadharma. So Swadharma could be more than one also, but one is always pronounced. Do you get the point? So this is how you guide your children based on these principles. And then he gives example. It acts like a headwind or a tailwind. The tailwind is it promotes your growth. Headwind is it goes against you. So if you take alien field, your entire personality will resist. But if you identify your talent and if you take to that, it's possible. In fact, in many cases, it happens that you have to struggle. Your father is in business. All you have to do is what? You have family business. Join the business. I mean, where is the struggle? But if you don't have that talent, that aptitude, Swamiji gives his own example. I mean, he hails from a very well-known business family in South India. We're talking about, 100 years back. When Swamiji was born, his family was already 80 or 90 years in business. And as a teenager, he had 2 Rolls Royces in his family. I'm talking about wealth. His family sent him to UK to study. And as a student, he went to Germany and he bought best of the Mercedes-Benz that time. So he gave up all that to do study and research on Vedanta. And the whole life was life of struggle, first 25, 30 years. But ultimately, it will fulfill you, as opposed to taking business which is alien to you. And even now, it is not too late for you. It's not that it's applicable only for your children. See, you can tweak your career if you feel. See, for example, if you have leadership skill and you find yourself stuck in a job, let's say you're doing just accounting, like regular data entry or whatever, but it's not fulfilling you because you have some kind of that Swadharma is there. You need to lead. So within your organization, slowly and surely, you can go get into leadership skill. Or other way around, leadership has been thrust on you, but that's not your Swadharma. You are a techie guy. You like to do your own research. Slowly, you can move towards research. So you can tweak at any stage of your life. So that's the point. So are we clear with this concept? Swadharma and Paradharma? Yeah.
Sometimes our mind acts very differently. For example, I may be very passionate about cricket, so I want to become a cricket player.
Right.
I may not acquire or have the skills to do so.
Right.
How do you know that, okay, you don't have that in you, that you want to become a cricketer? Then I think you can move on to something else.
Yeah. So the question is, sometimes you have a passion. Let's say I have a passion for cricket, right? And but also I may not have a talent, you're saying. So then how do I know it is not my Swadharma? That's the question. See, if that is what your passion is, if that's what your Swadharma is, if you apply yourself consistently, talent will blossom. How can it not blossom? If it does not blossom, then cricket is not your Swadharma. It is as simple as that.
Is that you try, then we find out.
You have to try. At young age, therefore we tell parents, expose your children to as many activities as possible, practical point of view. And then they will figure out what is their Swadharma. But if your Swadharma is cricket, if your Swadharma is, let's say, research, see, at some stage it will blossom. You will do well. You may have to struggle there. But how can it not blossom? But consistently, you are not able to, you can't, even after 2 years of practicing cricket, you within 3-4 balls, you're getting out. That's not your Swadharma. You get the point. It's not possible. If you have engineering vasanas to do research, eventually you will do well in engineering. You may struggle. See, everybody is not brilliant. That's what you are saying. But if you apply, or to the extent you apply yourself, to that extent, slowly but surely, you will definitely understand the subject. See, I can give you my own family example. Like, my sister was brilliant in science, in mathematics. In fact, in 10th grade, she was one of the toppers in Bombay. I think she stood, 10th or something like that, which is like highly competitive, right? And she took to science like how duck takes to water, and eventually she did post-graduation and all that. And behind my sister was my brother. I'm the youngest in the family. So, poor guy, my father pushed him into science. I always give example. There's a very famous college in Bombay, it's called VGTI. Shaileshbhai and Lakshmiji, they are from that college. That time it was like IIT. Even now it is not easy to get in, And my father was additional commissioner of sales tax in Bombay. It's a huge position. So he knew trustees and all that. And they have like separate, what do you call that? Quota for, for management. If you're on the board, then you can recommend like 2 or 3 students, something like that. So that trustee, incidentally, quite well known to my father, he said, don't worry, we'll get him into VGTI, And everybody, to get in there in 12th grade, you need minimum 80-85% that time. But for management quota, you need something like 55%. And we all thought, fine, my brother is going to VGTI. He failed in 12th standard. Science. Poor guy, And again, some of others said, okay, maybe he did not study and all that, whatever. And I remember they consulted a very expensive astrologist in Bombay. They consulted for my sister, for my brother. By the time it came to me, it was too expensive. So money was over. So I think that's what saved me. And again, he struggled for 1 or 2 years in science. I am trying to give you a practical example. And finally, he understood that it's not my cup of tea. And then he joined arts or commerce, I think, something like that. And after that, he really blossomed in life. And today he's doing so well. Anytime you call him, he's busy. Very honest guy, very hardworking, talented in his field. You get the point. So if you have talent, if you have that Swadharma, you may struggle a little bit, but eventually that talent will blossom. So therefore, you need to separate it from also your whims and fancies of your mind. See, it's possible that your mind has taken fancy to cricket or a baseball, passionate about it, but it need not be your Swadharma. But if it is your Swadharma, if that's what it is all about, then you will not worry about not doing well in that field. Eventually, you will do well. But also, everybody cannot become Roger Federer. You get the point. Though tennis may be your Swadharma, but everybody is not going to become Djokovic Everybody is not going to become Nadal. Everybody is not going to become Roger Federer. So but your talent will find its own footing, even in your own Swadharmic field, isn't it? That's a good question, practical question.
Amaji, an example that you just gave that your niece sought your advice.
Yeah.
A child may have more than one Swadharma, but I found in the past the parents will usually advise the child to or steer the child into a field that makes more money. How do parents and children should reconcile with that circumstance? It's not uncommon. Like if I want to be a doctor versus a literature, so parents will tell them, go into medicine. So how do we reconcile with that?
Yeah, there is what reconciliation. Therefore, everybody should read Bhagavad Gita.
Mm-hmm.
As simple as that. If you don't follow this advice, then it will be a disaster in life. You will end up becoming a suppressed, frustrated person in life.
Mm-hmm.
So you decide whether you want to live a suppressed, frustrated life or you really want to blossom as a human being in life. So, in fact, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, very nicely describes. He says, Paradharma is bhayava. He says, it's scary. Better die in one's Swadharma rather than do well in Paradharma. It's a direct verse I am quoting from chapter 3. He's saying it's fraught with fear. He's magnifying so that we understand. He says, rather die in my Swadharmic activity, meaning not do well, instead of doing well in Paradharmic activity. Business family, like Swamiji's example, like multi-millionaires, that time. But he would have been a highly frustrated person. But as a researcher of Vedanta, this subject, it took him years and years to establish himself. But ultimately, that's what found peace. So it's ignorant people. Therefore, right in the beginning, I said it is blind who is leading the blind. Parents themselves don't know these facts of life. So how can they guide their children? It's not possible. So Bhagavad Gita is telling us that guideline. So if you follow Swadharma, this is what will happen. If you don't follow, this is what will happen. So you decide now what to do.
Thank you.
So are we okay? Yeah, please continue.
As the self spirit contacts the body, mind, intellect, there is manifestation of life. Just as electricity contacting an electric bulb manifests as light. The spiritual core is homogeneous, one and the same in all human beings. The variety of human beings is a result of the heterogeneity of vasanas. The vasanas manifest as the matter vestures, body, mind, and intellect. And the quality and texture of these equipments differ from person to person according to the nature of one's vasanas.
Continue.
The body is the grossest of the three. The mind is subtler than the body, and the intellect subtler than the mind. All through the lives of human beings, the self spirit remains supreme, immaculate, immutable. Nothing can or need be done to the self. However, the skills of an individual can be improved upon by developing his material equipments. The intellect, being the subtlest, therefore plays the most important part in any form of management. But the educational systems today have lost track of the intellect and its vital role in human life. Consequently, the management personnel themselves have been denied the exercise of developing and strengthening their intellects.
See, what he's saying is, spirit is perfect. The Godhead, the divinity in us is perfect. I mean, you cannot make it any more perfect. Meaning it is a seat of absolute peace and absolute bliss, the infinite peace. So there is nothing you can do there. So what we need to do is we need to develop our body mind intellect. That's what we can do. So to begin with, what you need is a fit body. I think we had that discussion last week in Q&A. Somebody had asked this. Whose question was that? Who? Teresa's question. That Upanishad, though the theme is the transcendental, how come they are talking about physical fitness? Anybody should ask that question. So, in fact, right in the invocation prayer, they talk about physical fitness. May my limbs, entire body be fit, and may I continue the God given time, performing my obligation, singing your praise. So, to begin with, what you need is a fit body. What do you need for fit body? Only two things you need. What is it? First of all, do you need a fit body? Is a question. Somebody may say no, somebody may say yes. Do you need physical fitness? What is the answer?
Yes.
Yes.
Obvious answer. Second question is for what? See, this is where a problem can come. I mean, you can easily slip into something else. I mean, I can focus on my body fitness to become a model. I'm not saying it is wrong. So you can have that physical fitness, like that lean look, whatever models have. But for what? You need physical fitness for what? What's the purpose?
Vitality.
For what? You need physical body for what? What is the ultimate purpose? To become Mr. Universe, Miss Universe?
To have a healthy life. To have a healthy life.
Healthy
So,
life for what?
so I mean, body is the vehicle, right? Body has been given as a vehicle for us to do the daily tasks that we are supposed to do, and also do the spiritual practices. We need the body,
Good.
and the body is the vehicle with which we are traveling in this life as a thing. So using that for the right purposes, using the mind for the right purpose for meditation or the contemplation of God, and then using the
No, you've
hand.
given the answer now. Body. Let's stick to body. Excellent. Very good answer. So it is means to an end. So it has to be kept in good shape, in good repair. So whether you want to achieve your worldly goals, whether you want to achieve your spiritual goals, if you neglect your body, how can you achieve that? But it is means to an end. See, this is where you can easily get lost. One set of people, they completely neglect their body. America is full of such people. Another set of people, they are body worshippers. Both are wrong. So you as a seeker, you definitely have to keep your body in good repair, but it is means to an end. So therefore, in the Upanishadic prayer, it says, May I have fit body to sing your praise, so that I can achieve my spiritual goals, which includes your worldly goals also. So number one, definitely what you need is a physical fitness. Secondly, as far as your actions are concerned, you need dynamic actions. How can you be dynamic? Only when you are unselfish. If you are self-centered, you will get tired. It will produce mental agitations and worry and anxiety. So what you need at the action level, you need to be dynamic. So how you become dynamic is by having a higher ideal in life. Whatever you're doing, you don't have to change anything. Do it for Loka Sangraha, for the welfare of the world. If you're in business, for what? If you're in politics, for what? Only to help others. You could be in sports. So why do you play sports? For others. You could be in medicine. For what? You could be an engineer. For what? So that unselfishness or selfless attitude makes you dynamic at action level. Emotions, we all have to purify our emotions, like pure, noble, divine emotions. At intellectual level, we need what? What we need at intellectual level?
Your thoughts.
Pure thoughts, clarity, wisdom. Wisdom to manage your life, day-to-day life. So you have to fine-tune your entire personality to achieve your spiritual goals, which includes your worldly goals also. So the point is, spirit is perfect. The divinity in you is perfect. Nothing can be done about it. You have to align your entire personality to achieve the ultimate. Or your goal could be even the relative goal. Doesn't matter. I want to become a better human being. So how do you become a better human being? By fine-tuning each component of your personality. Are you getting the thought flow? If something is not clear, end of the class, you can clarify. Continue.
With lack of development of the intellect, corporate gurus have been imposing their personal, sporadic views on management in well-packaged literary jargons. And their books and seminars have earned best-selling statuses in a community where both the teacher and the taught have been deprived of intellectual growth and strength. The blind leads the blind. The problem of humanity arises from the fact that one needs an intellect to evaluate and develop one's intellect. In truth, humans are not aware of the emaciated state of their intellect. To possess a disease in the body is quite serious, but to have a disease and not be aware of its presence could prove fatal. That is the sad state of the corporate world.
See, he's talking about life in general, and I'll explain to you how. A person who has no logic or reason is drawn towards a person who has no logic or reason. It's very interesting. See, take spiritual field, for example. How many people they come to chest logic and reason, the knowledge aspect I'm talking about. So to come to study of Vedanta, right, what we are studying, Vedanta is based on what? Logic and reason. Why there are not many takers? I'm not saying everybody should come here, will have problem. Where will they? But the other day, I think a few months back, somebody had invited me to address a gathering. Wonderful people they were. There were like 600-700 people, or at least 500 people were there. And what they are talking about is it's not based on logic and reason. So the entire gist of that discussion was, I was there for 45-50 minutes. They were performing some kind of a ritual and all that, and somebody was promising them, if you do the ritual, all your wishes will be fulfilled, And there was like a lot of money also being transacted, incidentally, like $500 for like, I have like real contacts with the God, I know God personally, so your wish will be 100% fulfilled. 300 is like, okay, then the mediator, I don't know the God, I will go take you to the mediator. He will put your word to God. I am magnifying it. So the entire thing was based on you make a particular wish and then your wishes will be fulfilled, right? And I don't know how they invited me there to give a talk. So 60 to 70% of them did not appreciate what I say. See, I didn't criticize anybody. It's none of our business. Whatever faith they have, even if it is blind faith, it's okay. Never disturb anybody's faith. This is what we have to learn. But my point is, if you don't have logic and reason, then logic and reason doesn't appeal to you. The concept of God has got nothing to do with what you do or what you don't do in life. And it's not difficult. If you have logic and reason, you understand what is God principle and how it functions. But you need X amount of clarity, X amount of intellect to understand what scriptures are saying. This is the main message of Gita and Upanishad, any scripture for that matter. but 99% people will be drawn towards something which is based on what?
Blind faith.
Blind faith, some superstitious belief. Exactly same thing we apply in the corporate world also. There are seminars which are you have to pay thousands of dollars to understand or misunderstand rather that stress is external, not internal. I have attended such seminars and nobody asks the question. I haven't seen right from my young days. I've been attending them. I done my MBA. Stress is external, and I was convinced till I got exposed to this knowledge. Problem is not in the world. Problem is in you and me. World is a projection of your mind. Now, how many people are willing to understand this? You need logic and reason. It's so easy to blame others. I blame my wife. There's a conflict, let's say, with my wife. It's very easy for me to blame my wife. And then I go for counseling, and there again, I could be told that it's okay, don't worry. It's okay to blame others. I come across people who have paid $2,000, $3,000 per hour for session, and this is what they have been told. It's okay to blame your partner. And here what we tell is absolutely not okay to blame your partner. It's absolutely okay to blame yourself, or you have to. No takers. So world is a projection of your mind. If your mind is full of purity, you see purity everywhere. If your mind is corrupt, you see corruption. If your mind is full of conflicts and confrontations, such a person will have conflicts and confrontations everywhere. To begin with, where?
Within the household.
Household meaning what? With pots and pans?
With your spouse, partner.
My wife, say that. I don't know why she won't eat you. I'm there to support you. Don't worry. I'm on your side. You know that, right?
I think so, Vijay.
Don't be afraid of your wives, Don't be like a mouse, please. So the world is a projection of your mind. No takers for this. You get the point. And it is freely available, this knowledge, but there are no takers. But you will pay all the money in the world and listen to something which does not admit logic and reason. So the difficulty is, that's the problem. What's the difficulty? Any field, I'm giving you one or two examples. What's the difficulty to understand logic and reason?
Hello. I'm in the class. Can I call you? Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
I think the difficulty is taking accountability for what we know to be true, which is, according to these teachings, everything is a curse or a blessing based on your internal state of being, your internal thoughts, your internal feelings, and your ability to master the self, more internal than external, because it's a reflection or a projection of what your state of consciousness is.
Who?
Yeah.
Ramya. Okay, who is Ramya?
Yeah, I had a question actually. That when you say that world is a projection of your mind, so so are you telling that? I just wanted to understand that concept a little bit better. It's like, is it the kind of people you attract, the kind of incidents that happen in your life, or the kind of feelings that you develop over a period of time? I just wanted to understand a little bit more.
No, that's what you project what is inside you. It is a law of life. See, there's an interesting story. This might help you. And all these people, they know. So Krishna called Yudhishthira and Duryodhana. Yudhishthira is a picture of perfection, very pure person, unselfish person. And Duryodhana is the ultimate crook, right? So he called both of them. So he told Duryodhana, go all over the world and find me a best human being. Find me a best human being. So he went, he left, Duryodhana left. Then he called Yudhishthira and he said, find me, go all over the world and get me a masterpiece of crook, a master crook, the worst person you can find in the world. Then I will tell you for what. So both of them, they were devoted to Krishna. They went all over the world and they came back in few months. So Duryodhana came and he said, sir, with due respect to you, there is not even a single good person in the world. I went everywhere. I could not find even a single good person. Krishna said, okay, fine, you tried your level best. I understand. Thank you. Then came Yudhishthira. He said, sir, with due respect to you, I went all over the world. Everybody is good. I did not find a single person with any fault. Same world they are in. One person sees negativity, pessimism, fault. Why? You have that inside you. So what you have inside you project, it's the law of life, it's the law of psychology. So if your mind is pure, you see purity everywhere. If your mind is impure, if you're not established in higher values yourself, that's what you project on the world. So it's the law of life. In fact, this is the first lesson we learn in Vedanta. This is how our course in Vedanta Academy starts, with that poem, The Turkey and the Ant. If you master that poem, who is the author of that poem, Turkey and the Ant? You can check on website. You can Google and find out. Turkey and the Ant. It's a very powerful poem. So the turkey is blaming everybody. That what a terrible crime they are committing. She's blaming the man, humanity. That we have a beautiful life, but Christmas shortens all our days because man eats turkey on Christmas, so life would be so beautiful. But curse man, she's cursing us. That Christmas shortens all our days. John Gay, Turkey and the Ant by John Gay. And even when she's pointing finger at you and me, for breakfast she's destroying a colony of ants. You understand that? She's just pecking non-stop, how they peck, non-stop. One peck, I don't know, 30, 40 ants must be gone. So for one meal, turkey is destroying the colony of ants, and she's blaming man for eating turkey once a year. But she does not see her fault. It's a psychology. So you project what you have inside you. So if you are pure, you see purity inside. See, even when Christ was crucified, what he sees is purity, even in people who are crucifying him. Isn't it? Father, forgive them. They know not what they are doing. So where is that? Where are you and me? Somebody, even your own wife says something to you, Father, please don't forgive her. This is our reaction. One person goes through excruciating, everything is taken away from him, but what comes out is what?
Forgiveness.
It's forgiveness, maturity. So it's nothing to do with the world. It's the first lesson and perhaps the only lesson you have to learn. Forget about book, forget about Bhagavad Gita, forget about Upanishad. If you master this concept, you will start looking within. So it's the law of life. You project what is inside you. It's not easy to swallow. Nobody wants to. I want to think I'm perfect. No. So your spiritual journey starts when you suspect that perhaps something is not okay with me. I need to correct myself. So once you correct yourself, then the world is corrected. There is nothing to be done. How you look at children, this is much easier example. We all are adults. 30, 40, 50. And when you are playing with kids, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids, some of them could be like real rascals. There is no doubt about that. But the fact that I am saying they are rascals, I am like, what a good rascal. You get it. But when it comes to adult, he's a rascal. So how come we don't project imperfection on kids? Yes, it is there. I mean, it's innocent. But actually, we don't see. What we see is their cuteness, their innocence. But no child can see that in another child. You get the point. So therefore, world is a projection of your mind. In fact, there is only divinity. There is nothing upon world is nothing but divinity. So if you have divinity in you, if you are divine, you see only divinity. If you don't have that divinity in you, then everything is what is opposed to divinity. So it's a law of life. You get it?
Yes. Thank you.
The original questioner was Ramya, right?
Yeah.
Ramya. Ramya, okay. Yeah, Joe.
The world is a projection of our mind. And in noticing that, then it's like if I see it there, I put it there. That's just a kind of a technique tool, I suppose.
No, correct. I mean, you're saying it in a different way. You're right. I mean, what you have inside, that's what you project.
Yeah.
That's what it means. So you're right.
Thank you.
Who? Alicia. Yeah, Alicia. Yeah. You have a question?
Yes, sir. So you just said that all is divinity, and whether or not
all is?
You said
all is
that
divinity.
Yes. So there is everything is divinity. In that, is there so if we are projecting what we have, does divinity include both quote unquote good and bad? Because you can make whatever you align with happen. So is divinity both light and dark, shadow and sun, that kind of thing? And so depending on what you would like to accomplish, you project that, whether other people see it as good or bad. It's still all divinity.
See, it is not subjective. I mean, right now it is subjective. But from absolute point of view, I'm making this statement from absolute point of view, world is nothing but divinity. Where there is supreme reality, you and I have superimposed a pluralistic world on it. Actually, there is no world. So what you are seeing, what you are experiencing is nothing but divinity. But right now, you and I are not experiencing that. So in that sense, you are right. So therefore, you project goodness somewhere, you project negativity somewhere. But person who is evolved, he sees goodness only everywhere. He sees divinity only everywhere. He has reached that state. So therefore, we need to understand to begin with from our level, practical level. World is a projection of our mind, and we see that in our day-to-day life. One person could be very, very pessimistic. There are people who are pessimistic. Also, there are people who are very, very optimistic. Same situation, similar situation. The reaction is different. So it is what is in you that comes out. See, another example which I'm giving you a practical example when it comes to relationships. Taming of the shrew is a very famous example. Nobody could get along with her. But Petruchio has a beautiful relationship with, what is her name? Katharina. Katharina, So few people, they cannot get along with Katharina. Petruchio, in fact, she ends up being a totally devoted wife. Othello has best spouse, Desdemona, but he suspects her of negative qualities. You see what I'm saying? So what was inside Othello, he projected on Desdemona. She was the most purest lady you can get. And he accused her of infidelity. She doesn't even know the spelling of infidelity. So what is inside him, he projected on Desdemona. So we can go on multiplying examples, but I'm giving you simple examples from day-to-day life so that we can understand the concept. And then the extreme example of this is world is nothing but divinity, which we can't understand from our level at this stage. But these examples should help you, you know. So the bottom line is I need to work on myself. That's the bottom line. So you okay, Alicia?
If you're dealing with a crook in your life and you have, optimism in your heart, how, it's difficult to project that on that crook, and it happens to be your spouse.
If my 4-year-old grandson is a crook, how do I deal with him? This is your question. You will not ask this question. But you will not see, and we may say he's a crook. He's a spoiled brat. Uncle Sachdeva has spoiled him to the T. We see that. You don't see that. Why? You see the possibility, right? Usually it is the case. Children, they say, like, oh, don't bring that child, but mother cannot see. Ask Raji. Keshava and Madhava are the best. Incidentally, they are, but father may not agree all the time. Not like mother. It's different. Raji is incapable of seeing faults in Keshava and Madhava. You and I may see few here and there, however good they may be. Mother cannot see. How come? How come? That's what you are, as far as that relationship is concerned. Other kids, you may see only negativity. It's Tejo and Hiranmay worse. I don't know why Radha and Veera keep on praising them. Actually, reality is, So you can't see the spoiled brat in your own grandkid. It's not because you have grown to that level of maturity and understanding. But when it comes to adult, we both are at the same level. So how can we see goodness in a person? Problem is in me. So that's what I am projecting on my spouse, everywhere. And yes, I understand. There could be some people, they have negative qualities, right? But then again, you understand it from a level of maturity. They like guidance in life. They don't have higher values of life. So it's not that you don't see negativities. In a sense, you understand negativities. Yes, that person, we have to be careful. He's selfish, or he could be a scammer or whatever. But then it's not that you hate that person. It's not that you denounce that person. So you look at it from a level of maturity. Yes, he needs correction. He needs values. So that is the practical application. But if both are at the same level, I'm a crook, you're a crook. So you think of this example, grandkid.
Yeah. What if I feel like a victim in that relationship, being abused and manipulated by my
Same
spouse?
same thing, uncle. Your grandchild. In fact, grandchildren, they manipulate you maximum.
Oh, yeah.
Maximum. It's like an ATM machine. Granddad has come, I want my iPhone. Parents are not going to give. There is no chance. No, till you become 15, so the grandson knows where to go. Grandpa is coming. Grandpa, this is what my parents say. Mummy said, this is what daddy say. I want iPhone. Can you get me? Come, let's go to Apple Store. Pick up whatever you want. The maximum manipulation your grandson is doing. You don't complain. You glorify.
Yeah.
We can go on multiplying examples. The principle does not change. Let's accept where we are at this moment. I mean, what's wrong in accepting that, isn't it? That is when the growth starts. So therefore, it's very easy to blame the world. Very easy. It is impossible to look within and correct myself. That's the whole message. You take discussion in whichever direction.
Thank you.
Oh, time up. Yeah. Okay. One last question. Yeah, don't say again, Alisha. Alisha is committing a crime. And you're the microphone, hot microphone. This is the problem of hot microphone. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, we have such bad students also in the class.
So in the example that you just shared, and we are looking at the outward projection manifested as people, and we see that they may have some characteristics that might not be divine, right? As far as us, our physical being, do we remove ourselves from such close proximity because that seems logical, so that we don't continue to be, in that person's sphere? And if that's not the case, then how do I look within myself to resolve that issue?
See, it is possible that person may have some fault. Objectively, I am saying, right? Like some negative quality. But it should not be that you are projecting. Don't call a dog mad and kill it. You get it. But it's possible that dog has gone rabid. It's possible. So then from the level of maturity, you deal with that person, like how you deal with kids. Therefore, we keep on giving this example. See, it's not that you don't correct a child. A child which is spoiled comes here and starts breaking. It's not that we are going to keep quiet. We'll try to educate the child. They should educate the child. But it's not from negativity. It is out of love and affection. It is from the level of maturity, isn't it? So for that, what you need is a powerful intellect. You may be pure, but also if your intellect is weak, you may not be able to deal with certain situations in life where actually there is a fault, Objectively, if you look at it, for that, what you need is powerful intellect. Otherwise, you may be innocent, you may be pure, but still you will be victimized by such negative elements. But when you interact with those negative elements, it has to be from the level of maturity. Like how parents, they relate to children, how they correct them. It's from the level of maturity, isn't it? See, your own child, I'm magnifying, don't take it literally, takes to a life of drug, let's say, or becomes an alcoholic. See, as a parent, how can you not deal with that? But you don't hate your child for that. And definitely you can't say, okay, let him, fend for himself. I mean, it doesn't happen that way. But you deal from the level of maturity, love and affection. So you should be at that level. So one thing is you don't project what it is not, but from objective point of view, black is black, white is white. So you have to deal with it. And you can deal with that only with a powerful intellect. Otherwise, you cannot deal with that situation. You can't move yourself out of that situation. If you can, yes, you can do that. But how many times you can do that? If there is some problem in a relationship, you have to deal with it, Are you okay? All right, so let's conclude for today. Rather, you can note down where we.
Managing.
Okay, so next week we start with managing. Okay, perfect. Great. So see you next week. Have a good weekend.
Thanks,
Thank
Amitji.
you. Thank you, Amit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Amit.
Amitji.
Thank you, Amit.
Bye.
Thank you.